is G with G Mentions TV, and today, this evening, we have the beautiful Miss Nikki Jenkins. Go for some applause when she gets back. Yeah, she's joining us today for today's interview. So, what we decided to talk about tonight, I have to use it when I can. She's a very busy woman. So we're going to talk about caregiving to your elders. So being the whatever role you play, you're the child, you're the grandchild, you're the younger one that's caring for an elderly member in your family. I think it's just not talked about. It's not talked about because it's not something that's fun to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it has to be dealt with. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's not talked about a lot, maybe because I think that a lot of people have kind of, how do I say it? They just didn't sign up for the job. They drop them off in one of the facilities that I visit frequently, or and leave others to care for them. Yeah, I think that's why it's not talked about as much. I don't think there are a lot of children, nieces, nephews, whoever, who are assuming that role nowadays, For whatever reason, people still have to work, make a living for their families. Some don't have the patience, the compassion, or sometimes even the knowledge, the know-how. Don't know where to start with resources. Could be a million reasons why, so many people aren't assuming that role of caregiver.
That's fair. Yeah. So, just a little background. For one, thanks for letting us, G Mentions TV, use your domain.
It's all good. We pay for it.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
we definitely appreciate it. And also, I didn't really paint the picture of where why I brought her onto this one. Because what I realized today is I'll be doing a lot of these myself. And honestly, this was a topic that I was going to do myself. Mm-hmm. Only because personally I'm learning how caregiving is it's not talked about. My parents, my mom and my dad, they're in their 80s. Mom's mobility is not the best. Dad is good to go. However, he still needs assistance. And yes, to provide the aid, for one, I had to realize how to make myself available. And once I figured out the code to make myself available, I had to figure out how to create boundaries. So, as y'all know, my wife is a nurse. Well, my family, they use her as the family doctor. Both of our families use her as a family doctor. She get called on all the time. What is this? What is that? What do I do? And I love that for us. But
go to your nearest emergency room.
Right.
Quick care.
Right.
Whatever. I'm not a doctor.
So it's one thing to have a job as a nurse for money, but my wife, she really loves healthcare.
Yeah.
Knowing the anatomy of the body and why it's doing what it's doing. It's a little inside joke I won't share with y'all, but she likes to learn. She likes to learn healthcare.
Thank you.
Yeah, she likes to learn healthcare. I'll leave it like that. And as a man, as the only child and all that good stuff, what I think is not talked about is the expectations of being a health primary care or primary care provider for aunt, uncle, mom, dad, grandma, granddad. Because, we go through lives. I'm in my 40s. Yeah, perfect world, I should have it all together. I don't. And having to care for someone while you're still trying to itch your way, it's a unique balance on provisions and planning and all that good stuff. And that's what I think it's not expected of a 30 or 40-year-old. Because again, your mom, your dad, your aunt, your uncle, whoever, they've always been the strongest one in the family. It's always been the one that you can lean on. But when it turns around and they need to lean on you, yes, it's not going to come out as that and it's not a prideful thing, I don't think. It's just, I don't know what you call it, pride. What do you call it, pride? But when they need to
When
lean
the
on
parents
you.
realize that they need you to lean
Right.
on. I mean, maybe for some, I think that, especially a lot of black men, our fathers and grandfathers, maybe even in some cases uncles, whatever, they struggle with that because they are realizing that they are losing or have lost their independence. And these are like old school, like older black
Right.
men.
Right.
Of course they struggle with it. I don't really think it's, maybe some could say pride. I don't see it like that. I see it, struggling with losing their independence.
And like my wife said, you look at, she kind of mentioned the agencies. There's so many different agencies and programs that you kind of got to know the lingo. No one's there's no book. Maybe it is a book. Book's a million or something that says, hey, call this agency, get the free meals from this agency, do this from this agency. Maybe it is, but
that's where our wonderful case managers come in. Well, hopefully they're wonderful, but case managers, those are the resourceful people to go to.
right. But still, then, babe, we didn't get any case manager information on the palliative care. You knew about the palliative care from running the business.
I mean, I have the experience, so yeah, I had resources
And we had
where
to
start, but
and we had to
for
explain that to the agencies. Oh, we can't come. No, yeah, you can because it's palliative care. I learned the terminology through you.
But for people who don't know where to start, if
Right.
their parent, a loved one is getting discharged from a hospital, etc., they have case management. I've had plenty of people call me before and say, yeah, I'm getting discharged from Advent, and your name or, the business name came up on the provider list. So they do have a notebook, folder, link, whatever they may use that has a list of resources. Now you will have some that just kind of, be a little more and just give all this information up front. They try to set things up, but then you have some that don't.
So explain not to cut you out, but explain to the people. I use the word palliative care, but what is palliative care?
Hospice. It's hospice, yeah. They like to say palliative care now. I think throughout the years, hospice name had gotten like a negative whatever behind it. You know, a lot of people kind of thought that when you hear hospice, that mean that, oh, they're gonna die, they're gonna morphine them up, blah 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 blah. Well, now they like to use palliative or comfort care instead of saying hospice. In hospice, the criteria has changed too, because before it was 6 months or less. And it is what they kind of did. They kind of gave you morphine and a little comfort pack, and
right.
until you left here. But no, a lot has changed with hospice. A lot has changed.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm learning something right now, because I thought palliative care was the relationship with Medicare home care and Medicaid home care. I thought the term was palliative because you had home health workers and you had support from hospice. I thought that was the term. So that's not, so you're saying palliative care is just hospice?
Yeah, it's like, it's comfort care, you know. It's like those, you know, I don't want to say in days care or in the life care or nothing like that. Yeah,
but it can be long term.
That's literally what it,
that's how we refer to it as long term.
Like I say, like it went from, you know, about to die, or, you know, this
acute 7 days
expectation or a window, you know, 6 months or less, whatever, put on dying, to, you know, like they changed the criteria for hospice. But I think what you're talking about, maybe it's just more so dealing with who's going to cover this when it comes to, you know, there's things that Medicaid is going to cover that Medicare isn't, things that Medicare is going to cover and Medicaid isn't.
So and again, so that's what the topic is on primary caregiving. And I've learned a lot. I don't share a lot through other social media things, but I have learned a lot through these last months and years about, oh, she can get palliative care. So, and then the funding can't be overlapped, basically. So if you're getting funding for an agency through Medicare, you can't get the same funding through the agency from Medicaid.
Right,
so
because ultimately the money still comes from the same state department of.
Right.
And you can't double dip or build for the same code, you know.
Right. So you have to make sure that you say, no, this is this type of care, and this is, you know, we have people come to the house for baths, and they have to say, no, we can't do baths because you already have it. Nope, that is unskilled, right? And you are skilled. You can do the bath. That's an unskilled aid. Yes, y'all can be under the same roof at the same time because you're not providing the same level of service.
Right.
So, but knowing that, you got to know that, because they be looking for reasons. Oh no, we can't. Nope. So you have to be able to articulate and explain. And I tell y'all, she's taught me a lot about all that I'm telling y'all about. Like, I didn't know that, but you can have Medicaid and Medicare help as long as they're not providing the same help at the time. Right. Right. And you may say, oh, I don't need Medicaid, Medicare, but when it comes to long-term health care, which that's what this ultimately is, you know, you may have they offer long-term health care policies, and you may have it, but just know that when your loved one reaches a certain age, those things are available to them. And my military friends, there are a lot of different home health care avenues for veterans. You have to meet certain criterias. They're very specific. You know, your dad, your granddad, they must have fought a foreign war. They must have, you know, deployed so many days and all. It's a lot of specific.
Percentage of disabilities.
It's a lot of specific. And
however, you still apply those.
Right, because it's a lot of different avenues. It's a lot of different programs. I just found out about another one. What's the what is the term of it, man? Home and aid or aid at home. But anyways, it's a lot of different programs, and if you're in it, and if you need some more information, I would definitely just leave a message on the Facebook page, and I'll get back with you. But I didn't know, I didn't know a lot about a lot of the programs, and no one's really gonna tell you about a lot of these programs.
No, they're not going to tell you.
No.
Just like even these, different Medicaid, Medicare programs that provide you with an allowance monthly for household stuff. They have laundry detergent, fixodent,
Absolutely.
wipes, tissue, gloves, diapers. Condom catheters. Like so much stuff that you may need. Everybody knows elderly is already on fixed income. Like those are things that you utilize. Some different plans with Medicaid and stuff, they even provide transportation. You got to go to dialysis, they'll provide you transportation. Come to your door, go to the facility, etc.
So that brings me to a point too, and I'll share this.
And Meals on Wheels too.
Yes.
Meals on
Meals on
Wheels.
Wheels. Yep. Frozen meals, Meals on Wheels. Yeah. Yeah, and your case manager for the home health care agency, they should, if they're a good one, they should share all that stuff with you.
Right. And if not, you ask.
Absolutely.
Ask. Ask. They even have medication can be delivered to the door. You don't have to run to the pharmacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, man. You about to count some off?
Huh? No, I was just right out the top of the dome.
I just lost my thought. So, what I didn't really just talk about, I don't think I've ever shared it, was my transition or my decision, what kind of steered me to closing the business. The parents were in a nursing home, skilled living facility. That's the official term. And I think there's a disconnect in the loved one saying, whether it's the son, the daughter, the whoever, that's saying, as your parents get older, you might say, oh, my mom would never go in a nursing home. My dad would never go in a nursing home. I get it. Was there, been there, all that there. My parents were in a nursing home for 2 or 3 years, right? I was on the road trucking, trying to make up the difference and make it make sense. And during that time, the nursing home, and I was told, oh, the nursing home will take all the money, the nursing home will take all the money. Well, perfect world, the nursing home could have taken all their money. However, my parents still had financial obligations. So for the nursing home to get all their money, what did I have to do? We were paying, a couple $1,000s a month to supplement their income, right? So that was a deciding factor on me coming off the road. I'm like, hold on, I can pull them out. I'm hearing from the nursing, they're in the nursing home, they're getting cold meals. And this aide is not good. And this aide caught an attitude.
Diaper rash.
And laying in pee and fecal matter.
Insulin,
and all.
Medication errors.
Right. So I said to myself, my parents don't have a lot of money, but they did have, with Social Security and retirement, pensions and all that, they had enough to really take care of themselves. so much. I mean, not like perfect world, but so we pulled the trigger the first of the year, and we pulled them out of the nursing home. They're in a 65 year and up community. They quote unquote are independent living, which means they have a full kitchen and apartment. But that's when we needed the help. Of course, I started trying to do it myself. Oh, I can do it, right? I can go sit over there for 12 hours a day. That didn't last long, did it, baby? And she told me, she's like, man, it's a lot. Like, it's gonna be a lot. I was like, oh no, I got it, ain't nothing, just making meals. No, it was a lot. So I said all of that in a full circle to say this: for you loved ones that are adamant on saying, I need to get my parents or my loved one out of the nursing home, and this is what I'm gonna do to get to that point. Just keep in mind that you're still gonna need help. Even if you sacrifice your time and efforts and you say, I can do this for 7 days a week. I think I did it straight for 2 or 3 weeks before I got help from the state. And I was burnt out. Like, I wasn't doing anything, I was just over there, but I was burnt out. Like, I was making meals, I was going to get the medicine, I was doing this, doing that, blah, blah, blah. And it was just a lot. I was home, but I wasn't home. It was almost like I was still on the truck. So something to keep in mind if you say you're gonna sacrifice your lifestyle to take care of your loved ones, it's still gonna be a big stretch to do. Not to say you can't do it, but mentally, physically, and your loved ones are gonna have to deal with you not being home. Even if your parents are right around the corner, like, you're still gonna have to, all right, I'll see y'all tonight. You come home, everybody sleep. Just for you to wake up to do it the next day. So just keep that in mind, because it sounds really simple. And I've heard different sides of the story. Oh, I never put my parents in a nursing home. Oh, I never do this, I never do that. But what are you willing to sacrifice is a big question. So, and what we have to do in support of, even though they have, I think we're up to 42, 44 hours of care every week, we still have to pull or pay out. So, I talked to the case manager the other day and said, hey, I need more hours. I need more hours. When are we gonna reapply? Because when you have, it's almost like having a child. You can't leave them by themselves, so what are you gonna do? Yeah. But I went for a while.
No, you didn't.
And then
your expertise.
And then too, I'll share something with y'all. Mom she came out of the hospital the other day. She had a medical issue, and one of the agencies, I won't really say who, but they offered to do a non-emergency transport home. And of course, I was like, at first, I was already at the hospital to pick her up. And I was like, no, I'm here. I'll do it. And when I talked to the lady, the case manager, she said, no, they said she needed transport, so I ordered it. And I told that lady, I said, you know what? I have to take the support that's given. Because yes, could I walk her to the, could they have taken the wheelchair down there? I could have pulled the car up, got her in the car, well, why not? It's offered to me, and it's state funded. So, but.
And they have definitely, I don't like to say that things are free, because my in-laws have worked all their life, so they'll definitely put enough into the pot to get something out of it, at their age. Whatever Medicaid or Medicare is giving them, they deserve and love it.
And I'll say this to the person that's receiving the care, grandma, mom, dad, whoever, allow that loved one that's giving the effort to help you. Or more specifically, if you're at the point to where you're missing bill payments, or you're forgetting your medication refill request. When you get to that point, or even if you're having little fender benders, allow that ego to digress. So the person that has been pushing to help you, whether it's a grandchild or a child, now's the time to let them help you, because getting them on that bank account, getting them on whatever HIPAA list or healthcare surrogate or whatever, is always going to be easier while you're in your right mind. Yes, you might be forgetting some things here and there. Yes, you're still in your right mind to sign a document saying, hey, this is my, POA, or my healthcare surrogate. Isn't that? Because when that person is trying to handle business, those documents are priceless.
Yeah, and I think that when the parent or whoever it may be, when they have a certain level of trust, that it makes it easier. The approach is going to make it easier. But either way, I think it's something that an independent person will struggle with.
It's absolutely.
And that's okay, and that's normal.
Absolutely.
So again, if the trust is there, the approach is right, I think, and still, while taking over, care and like the whole whatever for a loved one, I think it's still kind of important. It is very important, especially starting out, to kind of give them choices. You don't have to open up a whole bag of choices, but to say, just little choices here and there. You don't want to come in and seem like you're just taking over their entire life.
So, you know what I say?
Not a lot of choices. No.
Hey.
Not a lot of choices.
Hey.
So
open up a can of worms.
So when I would go in people's home or room or whatever, and to give them a choice. I got one pair of pants, 2 shirts. Okay, you got a long sleeve, you got a short sleeve. That's still choices, and it still makes them feel good to choose what tops they want to wear. So I mean, it's little things, but
so it's preserving.
Seems little to us, rather.
Preserving the dignity, and that was one of the first things that was one of my first focuses when I took on the role as a caregiver, was preserving the dignity. And then I'll say this too while I'm talking. If you're the caregiver, yeah, you may have some siblings, but you can stew in, I'm not getting no help and all that kind of stuff. You knew before the time happened if you were that person, right? The main person. Maybe you're the belly button. Only one person can be the belly button. Yes, you can have help, yeah, all that, but at the same time, don't stew in or don't create more tension in the family. Now that you have something to hang your hat on about being the caregiver. And the other side of that fence is what?
Is it really?
What those other ones need to do.
What do you have to hang your hat on? It's a stressful job.
Absolutely.
It's stressful, it's time consuming, and it's sacrifice for everyone involved. Nonetheless, it is what it is. And while like encouraging people to not put their loved one in a home, at the same time, do what you can do. If it's what you can do,
absolutely.
Don't take them home. Don't assume that responsibility, knowing that it's too much, or it may even be in some cases impossible at that point in their life. Leave them where they at. Just don't forget about them. I've taken care of people, and when I tell you, for years, in the years before I started working there, like, nobody has came to visit them or anything, and for whatever reason, because those reasons can be endless. However, everybody, just consider yourself blessed to be in a position to care for the parents.
Right,
really.
and I think too, babe, those decisions are made emotionally. And I think it's hard to tell someone, don't make that decision emotionally about, are you going to take care of your parent or your loved one or put them in a facility? It's hard to not. Yeah, you can say you're trying to, you're being rational, but that's my mama, she'll never go in a nursing home. I've heard that so many times.
I've heard both. I have heard my mom would never go into a nursing home, and then I have heard from even nurse co-workers, hey, my mama is definitely going into a nursing home.
Right. But like you say, co-workers, like somebody that knows, they've seen both sides of the fence. Because I wouldn't have known anything about a nursing home until my parents went in there. I think, no, we started dating before they went into the nursing home. So I didn't know anything about it until they went, and then I haven't started hearing all the backstories. The girl come in, and this, that, and she having a bad day. I heard all kind of things. And as a man too, we're Mr. Fix-It. Okay, what can I do to fix this situation? And again, once I pulled them out of the situation, I was faced with more issues. Now they have
a lot more issues,
right.
Because you definitely assume a 100% responsibility of what the facility was doing as far as staffing, meals, appointments, medication.
Right. And it's
everyday living, face wash and toothbrush. I mean, even if those services wasn't, to one's liking or whatever, they were still being done. So,
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Took on all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is a lot.
And I'll use this to share. I'll use this to say thank you to you, babe, because she knew what I was getting into. But when I brought it to her what I wanted to do, she didn't tell me not to do it. And I appreciate that.
I'm never going to tell you not to care for your parents, but I definitely have to let you know it was, put your seatbelt on, because, it's not going to be easy.
And create the boundaries. Just a whole different set of the things I'm not going to do. I had to learn that overnight. I know that's one of the reasons why I did get a job, to have a reason not to do. I'm at work. I'm at work. So, yeah, definitely a learning experience. I just don't think it's talked about. We could start wrapping up, but I just don't think it's talked about enough. And I wanted to use this platform. This may be the first of many. Maybe I'll get more specific. I hate to get specific on the how-tos and all of that. Normally YouTube channels, they do that, but like my auntie called, she's in Detroit. How did y'all get this? How did I get it? Like my wife, she'll talk to her like, you're in a different state. We don't know. It can be totally different. Different websites, different way about doing things. But I'll tell you this. What triggers a lot, and I'll tell y'all to go to the hospital, what will trigger a lot with care, once you go to a hospital, they have to create a discharge plan. And that triggers a lot. Versus you being at home saying, I need care, I need help. Because once that case manager, what do they call it, transition manager?
You got a case manager. 9 times out of 10 in the state of Florida, I think you get like 21 days of rehab, and then from rehab, maybe based on the mobility or whatever issue it was that led to the hospital, you can transition to long-term care, which opens up a whole nother opportunity for, the long-term care. You can go to pick a facility and have the 24-hour care and all of that other good stuff, or you can bring the person back home, but now you have, the chances of an agency or someone stepping in to help is much greater than sitting at home and trying to figure it out. Yep.
So I'll share this little issue we had a couple of months ago or so. Mom was in the hospital. The discharge plan was for her to go to rehab. That's what they call it. Rehab in a skilled facility, which is pretty much a nursing home. They just have a skilled facility or rehab wing, but they're intermingled. Well, when it came to it, the nursing home wanted to deal with her directly when they wanted to deal with, when she was saying what she needed to say, what they wanted her to say. When she didn't say what they wanted her to say, then they wanted to say I was the
you was the healthcare surrogate.
Here I was the healthcare surrogate, POA, and all that. After I gave them all the paperwork, but when she said certain things, mom says she ready to go home. I can't remember what it was. The doctor has deemed her competent to make decisions for herself.
When
She's saying when it benefited them. That's what I'm getting at. So it's very frustrating when you got somebody that just met your mom a week ago and they're in the office. They're not even changing her diaper or doing anything, and they're telling you how things are gonna go with the person that you've known or that you really know since you've taken on the role of caretaking for them. So that's very frustrating. That's why I say the earlier you can get healthcare surrogate signed, POA signed, and get on the bank account, the better. Because these people are, I don't like fault them for it, but they're trying to do their job the best that they can do. But it's very frustrating when you know your person, you know your mom, dad, grandma, granddad, more than they do. So yes, it's been times I've had some issues in the facilities.
Yeah. So I think, in conclusion, again, I go to a lot of facilities. They are not the best. However, I get it. Like, I get it both ways, right? Everybody's not able to care for their loved one, but just don't forget about them,
Right.
Even if you're calling, checking on them, stopping by, maybe even once every 2 weeks or once a month, like, whatever, like, just don't forget about them. Do what you can, and if for any reasons there's past hurt, trauma, like whatever kind of hindering that that compassion towards your loved one, try to seek counsel, go to therapy, talk to that person about it, and try to move forward in life. But I think that's the whatever of it. Just do what you can. Just do what you can. If you can't bring them home, you can't bring them home. If you have to put them in a facility, then put them in a facility. Me personally, in the field, I don't look down on anybody for what they, again, their reasons for whatever choice they made is endless, and it's not my job to try to figure it out. It's not my job to try to be their therapist or any of that, but so
That's good. Reconciliation, you need to write that topic down. So it's very important to reconcile with your loved ones, because you might be the only hope that they have. And kind of off topic, but she triggered something with the facilities. If you are that, hey, you ain't even gotta have the paperwork to say that you in charge. But if you that person, the business office, they gonna want all the money. I don't care if you can justify that your loved one still has a mortgage to pay, all important bills, you know, life insurance, all the important bills.
Probably what you don't want to mention, because they'll come for that house.
They don't care either way, because you're gonna have to disclose all financials. That's what I'm getting at. So you're gonna have to supplement. Just think about it, all the financials. But if you don't know the financials, because your loved one never shared them with you, again, it can be a big deal. It could be a big deal. So encourage your loved ones, not because you trying to take advantage of them. When they get older, they think you are, and that's understandable. I think I'll probably be the same way. Think my little nephew, who is somebody like that, you know? But joking aside, make sure you share that stuff with them. I'm telling y'all, if you know that you're getting older, you have to have that person or that whoever that's on your will or whoever, get that stuff to them ASAP, because they're going to be stuck with that. And yeah, we were stuck with that at a late date. So and still dealing with it, but just wanted to have this dialogue, and I think that was great that you shared, reconcile with your loved ones. I think that's good. That's real good. So, but thanks, babe, for being a part of G Mentors TV. It's always a pleasure to have the one and only Mrs. Jenkins. She said, "We got to do this now." Yeah. So, y'all know her background. She's a nurse by trade and constantly elevating in the field. Man, I gotta find some. I'm gonna find it too. I know it's on there. You know, I'm all the theatrics. Maybe I'll find somebody on Fiverr or something. Do all of it. I ain't got time. But thank y'all, and God bless.